I'm Tawra, and this is...
I'm Michael.
And we're from livingonadime.com. Today, we are going to talk about my chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. I get a lot of questions about this, so I thought I would address it so that maybe some of your questions can get answered. I know there's a lot of people that have fibromyalgia, especially chronic fatigue syndrome known as CFS. Is not quite as common, but I'm gonna give you a little bit of information and things that help me and things that don't, and Mike's gonna give you a bit of information about what a pain it is to live. Oh, you get it? A pain? Ah, I made a joke.
I'm laughing on the inside.
To live with someone with CFS and fibromyalgia. So to start off, a lot of people will ask me, how do I know if I have chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia? Some of the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome are fatigue, loss of memory. Some of the symptoms are fatigue, loss of memory. Oh, wait a minute. Just kidding. You can get a sore throat. Your lymph nodes will get enlarged. You can have unexplained muscle pain, but it's different from the fibromyalgia muscle pain. The CFS muscle pain is more generalized. Fibromyalgia is more trigger point specific areas. You get headaches. When you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, you feel like you've been hit in the head with a rock instead of feeling refreshed. And you have really bad exhaustion after you exercise. So when you exercise, and this is the key one that I can almost diagnose anyone with CFS, is if you exercise and you feel worse instead of better and you have to go to bed because you've exercised, you probably have chronic fatigue syndrome. That's one of the big ones.
But don't diagnose yourself.
Yeah, don't diagnose yourself. But that's one of the ways you can know. For fibromyalgia, some of the symptoms are muscle pain. That's the big one for fibromyalgia. For chronic fatigue syndrome, the big key is tiredness and headaches and loss of memory. But for fibromyalgia, it's trigger point pain. And by trigger point pain, there are 18 spots on your body where the pain is. And for me, it's like on the insides of my arm here, on the base of my neck, on my shoulders, on my hips, my lower back, my knees, the insides of my thighs. If you push those specific points, it will feel like someone has put an iron on your body there. I mean, it does. When Mike rubs me, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but when he rubs me and he rubs those spots, it feels like someone is taking a hot iron to that area, and it is very painful. With fibromyalgia, you also get tired. You also have the memory loss, and you can have problems with migraine headaches or tension headaches. You can feel anxious or depressed. You can get numbness in your hands and tingling in your hands and feet and arms. You have an intolerance for exercise, and you can swell a lot. And so and you can also get irritable bowel syndrome with fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia is more muscle related, but chronic fatigue syndrome is more tired type thing. Now, I will tell you, we got sick in 1988. My mom, my brother, and I all came down with the flu, and we never got better. But what's interesting is I am convinced that fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome are two totally different things. They're in the same family, I believe, but my mom and brother both have CFS, but I'm the only one who has both CFS and fibromyalgia. So I think they're two totally different things.
Well, we can tell, like, I've learned to tell which one it is, because one of them we found we can sort of treat with something in a short-term, temporary kind of emergency measure, the other one not. So if she has CFS, she turns all pasty white. She's laying on the couch with her hand above her head, and or sometimes in all kinds of weird positions on the driveway or on the yard or somewhere where she just happened to be.
And it's this feeling, yeah, it's this feeling that just comes over you, and it's like, I cannot move one more minute. And Mike will look at me and...
I'll just say, do you need an Alka Seltzer? So we discovered one time when she was taking Alka Seltzer for something. Hey, wow, she felt better all of a sudden. And we've discovered that 2 or 3 times. And then we finally realized, wow, we can actually predict that when she's pale like that, give her the Alka Seltzer.
Yeah, I
and
just
she'll
take
feel
the
better.
regular Alka Seltzer. It's not anything exciting. It's just the regular plain Alka Seltzer. And all that's in here is aspirin and baking soda. And when we've run out, I will take 2 aspirin and a half a cup of water with a half a teaspoon of baking soda. And that will perk me up too. It's kind of strange because...
But didn't you say the Alka Seltzer Gold helps you?
Well, that
As
helps
well?
me with something else, but yeah. But the regular Alka Seltzer helps me the best when my CFS is bad. I don't know why. There's something in the baking soda, but Mike always knows. When I'm laying on the couch and I look dead, he knows to come bring me an Alka Seltzer, and even the kids now will bring me one. And that will kind of bring me back to my senses, and it'll get me off my bed, going from off my bed, going from mostly dead to at least semi-alive. And I can at least get up and move around a little bit. There's days where poor Mike, I'll say, okay, would you please just go out in the garden and dig a hole and roll me in it?
Oh, you say that to me.
Or did I say, I'm sorry, I say that to Mike. Sorry, see what I mean?
No, I just say, do you want to go take a bath or something? Get away from everyone a little bit, please?
Because I have moments where when I'm really, really sick, I just want everybody gone. I don't want anybody bothering me, and I just want to roll over and die. But of course I can't, but you know, it would be nice. So anyway, those are some of the symptoms that I have. And what happened was, I will address just a little bit. When I got sick when I was 16, and when I was 19, I tried to work, and I kept working, and it just wasn't working for me to work. I just would come home. I was so sick, I couldn't get off the couch. I started missing work, and I just could not support myself. So when I was 19, I did get on disability, and it's really, really super hard. Back then it was to get on disability, and frankly it was a miracle I even got on. I had no health insurance, I had nothing, I couldn't work to support myself, so I was on disability, and I got $300 a month, and that's what I lived on when I was 19 to support myself. And then when I was 22, I met and got married to Mike, and people will see the website and they'll say, oh, but you're doing the website, how do you do all that? I don't. I work 3 or 4 hours a week on the website, and my wonderful husband here is the tech guy who makes me look good and does everything else behind the scenes. And you know, there'll be days like we're shooting videos now, but the rest of the house is a pit. I can, it is, I'm just telling you the truth.
It's not too bad today.
Yeah, not too bad, but when
That's because we did a cleaning the sink video.
Yeah, that's because we were cleaning the sink. But I have to give up things. I can't do it all. If I'm doing videos on this day, it's going to be an easy dinner of throwing a pizza in the oven, or the house is going to be a mess. The dishes aren't going to get done. Even sometimes it's too much, even though the kids' chores are to do the dishes, it's too much for me to say, get in there and get the dishes done. Because this kind of stuff really does wear me out, and I'm pretty much out for the rest of the day. And
she gets really confused and sometimes irritable because she can't think of what she's trying to think about, and it makes it difficult at times to try to understand even what she's asking for, or what she's asking someone to do, or whatever.
Yeah, because I can't remember words. I mean, and literally, poor Mike, sometimes I'll call him and I'll say, how do you spell your name? And I do a lot. And it's really, really hard living with someone like that. But but I have a very loving husband, and you know, he's a good Christian man that said for better or for worse, so he hasn't left me yet, but
I'm not trying to leave you.
But you know, it is hard, because you have to remember that he's very forgiving, that when I'm not feeling good and I'm trying to do things and I'm getting frustrated and angry because I can't remember or I can't figure out how to do it, and he's very good at forgiving me and moving on. And so
we're usually trying to divert her away from the chaos at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to go take a bath? Would you like to go sit out in the backyard or go in your garden and just lay there on the dirt or something, just so you can be away from the chaos? Because at those moments, it doesn't even occur to her. Or with the Alka Seltzer, she may say, "Oh yeah, I don't need that right now," or something. And yeah, you do need that right now, and so I'll just go get it. And those things make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it was a funny story. Our neighbors, who we're really good friends with, when they first moved in, our youngest was 3 or 4, and he would want to go outside and play, but I would be too sick to go outside and play. And so I would go and I would just lay on the driveway because it was warm and it made my muscles feel better. And I would just lay there, and my neighbor said, "You know, when I first met you," she said, "I saw you laying out on the driveway," and I thought, is she dead? What is she doing here? Her kid's driving or riding his bike around, and she's just laying there. And so it doesn't even occur to me to like go lay on the grass or something. I'll just lay down wherever I'm at, and it's kind of strange, but that way I could keep an eye on my son, but I didn't have the energy to sit up, so I could lay down. And so it's kind of funny sometimes, and we joke about it a lot. It really helps to joke about it and just brush it off and don't get angry about it. It's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do. You can't really help it. In our next video, I'm going to tell you some of the things that I do to help me function. But those are some of the symptoms, and that can at least get you started. Just Google it. I mean, the symptoms are all over there, but we have on our website the symptoms also at livingonadime.com, and you can just click the information button up top there, and we have that, and we'll put it in there. But those are some of the things that you're feeling and some of the symptoms that you have when you have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia.